Okay, I know you saw the title. Calm down. All the Hoyo fans, calm down. I love Honkai, but the game isn't doing the best right now. And this video is just me just telling people my opinion on the game at this moment in time. And that's really it. That's not much. That's really it. Now 3.0. 3.0 isn't the greatest right now. I don't know about you guys, but I was like betting on this patch to save the game for me because the game is low-key not doing the best for me right now. I am not having a fun time in this game. I'm actually like extremely bored. Every time I log into Honkai, I just get bored because there's no content in the game. This patch does not feel like a 3.0 patch. It feels like a 2.8 patch instead. You would think something like a 3.0 patch would be something like huge for the game, not just the same thing over and over again. Because so far what I've seen and experienced in this patch is just we have a new story and we have one new event and 2 new characters, and that's it. Now you might say, hey, we got a huge planet, we got 10 hours of story, but the problem with that 10 hours of story, that is 10 hours of just yapping about things that I honestly don't care about. Because the storytelling in this game is so unreasonably bad, I just can't care. I just don't care about the story. Like at the beginning, it was cool with like us like crashing to the planet, and then after that, we just hit a downward slope. I'm like just look at Woo-Wah. Wuthering Waves, another game that we all love to talk about, a game that we all glaze. And I am not going to glaze this game yet, because I'm not going to use this as an example. I'm actually going to use another part of Honkai as an example. We're going to go back to Belobog. This is when Honkai peaked. Well, for me at least. A lot of people say Peliconi was the best for them, but for me, I think it's Belobog. Because Belobog doesn't have all the issues that we have now, the newer story parts of Honkai. For example, the way how the story is shown to you. There's no black screens, there's no like entire scenes of just them just yapping nonsense that you just don't understand at all. Everything is shown to you, everything is explained to you in a way to you that actually makes sense. Characters actually speak like normal people, not like poetic bullshit that we have in Peliconi. Cause I'm not gonna want to see that shit in Peliconi. It was crazy.
I saw an Intellitron there who was preparing to auction himself. When someone wins a bid under stipulated periods and rules, he would do the buyer's every bidding, becoming that person's very possession.
We have actual animations when people talk. It's not just the same 3 animations we played over and over again. And that final boss fight was some straight peak. I'm like, the music was peak. The boss was actually fighting Concordia. That was peak. The animations was peak. Like everything was peak. Like. Remember that scene when you was rolling up the robot arm and like all like the guys you met from before was helping you out and like not letting you fall off the arm so you can actually fight Concordia yourself, bro? Now that's how you do the power of friendship, bro. Genshin, take notes. Take some notes, bro. Did I say the music was peak? Because the music, bro, oh my god, the music was so good. All you gotta know that my screen was completely white, bro. I was jizzing all over the... Back to locking in. The story for Belobog didn't feel as dragged out as the other ones because just look at the times. Like the entirety of Belobog is 15 hours. Part 1 of the place we're at right now, bro, is 10 hours. 10 hours of yapping, just looking at the scenery and just black screens. Black screen, yo. Oh my gosh, bro. I was watching one of the Gotcha Smack videos, bro, and when I saw that Black Swan was like had to do something to like March 7th, like Black Swan was doing something to March 7th, and the screen cut to black. I was disappointed. I'm not I was depressed. That shit made me so sad. I was like, holy shit, there's no way. There's no way we have to save the budget, bro. Like, this patch should have been delayed and had more content, to be honest with you. Okay, now let's talk about gameplay. The actual gameplay in 3.0. Let's start with power creep. Now tell me why my E1S2 Acheron is hitting for 200k, but my E0S0 Hunter is hitting for 600k off of skill, off of enhanced skill, of course, enhanced skill. But still, that is crazy difference in damage. By the way, my Hunter is not even built yet. My Acheron is somewhat close to being built. She's missing one speed, but actually didn't do too much to her damage because I'm still hitting for 200k and my Hunter is hitting for 600. And I'm not even done building her. That's like 90 crit damage right there, by the way. I would be okay with this if the bosses like didn't scale with the new character damage, but the bosses is tanking 200k like it's nothing. It's like the bosses don't even care. Like, you hit for 200k, the boss is like, okay, 200k, that's all you got. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was so, like, surprised when I did this MOC, and I saw my Acheron barely hit. Like, did any damage. Like, she did no damage at all. I mean, like, you would think that this, like, MOC 12 would be good for DOT, but no, it's just not. That MOC phase that looks like it will be good for DOT, that's actually follow-up. Because follow-up and DOT have the same typings. Speaking of MOC bosses, what are we doing with the boss designs in the game? You know, when the game first came out, you had to actually think and like fight against the boss, like actually have like a strategy against the boss. Nowadays, the bosses are quite literally synced up with the same typing as the team they want you to use. Like with phase 1 of MOC 12, it's the same typing as follow-up. I'm like we have. Like, the boss is weak to wind, which is Fei Xiao, lightning, which is Mo's, and fire, which is, of course, Topaz. Like, they want you to use follow-up. Oh yeah, in imaginary, so you can also use the Victory too as a sustain. So like, they want you to use follow-up, not DOT on that fight. It shows how lazy the devs are starting to get, because the mobs don't require any amount of thinking or skill to beat them no more, right? It's literally just you use follow-up. If the game asks you to use follow-up, you are going to use follow-up. If the game asks you to use super break, you are going to use super break. And if you don't have those teams, well, you're kind of cooked. Because I have super break and I have DOT. And I can beat one half, but the other half I just can't beat at all. So if you just don't have the units or the team that asks you to use, you are not beating that boss, no matter how much knowledge you know about that fight. Which is kind of sad. I saved up for a pretty long time to get my Acheron, and it's kind of sad to see that she's not usable unless you get her into E2, in which I don't understand why, because why does my Acheron just forget, like does she just forget how to fight when she like doesn't have the Haley units on her team? But when you pull like extra copies of her, she's like, oh, I know how to fight now, time to lock in. Like, what is going on? That makes no sense. Like, I don't get it. Some people might say it's a balancing act so she wouldn't be as broken. I guess you don't care about balancing once the player spends a little extra money to get 2 extra copies of the unit, because her E1, no, holy E2, her E2 removes that entire feature. Like, and that's very annoying to have a unit that I saved all this time for and got super hyped. Like when I pulled Acheron, I was just extremely hyped, bro. Like, I can just show you the clip. So scared though.
No losing 50-50s. No losing 50-50s.
We don't lose those here.
That's not what we do. We don't lose those here.
We don't lose those. We don't lose those. We don't lose 50-50s around here. Okay. I'm looking at OBS right now. Yes!
That's what I'm saying. We don't lose 50-50s.
Yes. Watch. I get it again. This is why I'm gonna bring up Ruwa, because Ruwa has actual good in-game content. I'm not at the end game, but I'm gonna count the holograms as in-game because that's the in-game I'm doing. That's the content I'm doing right now. Okay, and though holograms, I have to actually know what the boss is doing, and I have to actually lock in and know, okay, this is when I dodge, and this is when I punish. Honkai doesn't have that. Yes, Honkai is a turn-based game, but Honkai used to have that type of system before. For example, the monkey boss. Yes, the monkey boss. Every time you use a skill point, he will target that unit that used the skill point on. Whoever's the last unit that used a skill point, he will do a big slamming attack. So you have to so it's like, this unit can't tank this, but this unit can. So you use the skill on a unit that can actually tank it, which most of the time would be your sustain or shield or something like that, right? Now that's not a lot of thinking, it's a little bit of thinking, it's not very complex, but it at least it's something. It's some type of thinking. Now with fights, like if a fight requires super break, my brain is it's not even on, like it's actually off. Like I'm not thinking at all. I'm just like, okay, Firefly's gonna lock in, do a whole bunch of damage, and I win. There's like, I'm not thinking like, oh, the boss gonna do this, or the boss gonna do this. I'm just gonna do a lot of damage and kill the boss in one hit, or maybe two. And it's that simple. It's just that easy. Like I don't know. Like bosses just don't require any type of thinking, and it's kind of sad to see it go that way. And that's all my thoughts on 3.0. Some people have faith, like, okay, Honkai might make a comeback like ZZZ, but the difference between Honkai and ZZZ didn't have to be players, so that's why that game locked in and added good updates. Honkai already has a loyal player base that clearly glazed the living shit out of this game, so it's probably not gonna get changed. They're not gonna change nothing. They're not gonna change nothing. But I'm still gonna say, well, I don't like it or I do like about this game. But all I gotta say is I'm probably not gonna play Honkai for the next couple patches. When the fake collab happens, I'll come back, see what happens, see what change. If nothing changed, I probably won't be playing it. I probably won't be playing it. I won't be playing it long after the fake collab. But that's it, you know.